A new plan for Canyon Ferry Lake, and buying a gun may now be more difficult. Good evening, I'm Orlinda Worthington, and this is News 12 at 10, where news comes first. Recently, the Canyon Ferry bill was passed, benefiting cabin owners in the north end of the lake. Today, a group met to discuss ways to improve the southern end of the lake. Jeff Goldberg is live in the studio with the details. Jeff?
Thanks, Orlinda. The Canyon Ferry bill will allow cabin owners to buy their homes from the state, delegating $20 million to Montana Recreation soon. But first, citizens of Broadwater County are seeking their own recognition. If the plan is built, the money will come. Broadwater County is eager to renovate the south end of Canyon Ferry Lake, and officials agree it's a good idea. A representative of Max Baucus says $3 million will be provided for the renovation, but a plan is required.
Once the plan is developed, we'll work with them to secure the funding. We'll take the lead to help secure the funds. But there are various agencies, state and federal, that have monies that could come together to be deposited into the trust fund to total $3 million for this purpose. And that's our job to do that.
Broadwater County claims the north end of the lake is well maintained and an attractive recreation area. The county wants the south end of the reservoir to resemble the north. Kathy Frazier owns the Yacht Basin Marina. She agrees the south end needs renovation, but not at the expense of her business.
And I'm not opposed at all to Marina being on this end of the lake. I'm opposed to it being financed with government money, whereas the other three have all been private investments.
A Broadwater County commissioner believes the north and south ends should not compete, but help one another.
And by enhancing the recreation facilities all around the lake, I think will improve business for everybody. There's people going to other locations in the state for recreation that could be coming here if we had a better facility for them. So I think everybody will benefit.
The Canyon Ferry bill prohibits money from cabin sales to benefit Broadwater County. But Baucus's office assures Broadwater a favorable plan will be funded. A representative of Broadwater County hopes renovation of the south end of the lake will begin in the spring. Orlinda?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, Governor Mark Roscoe and 3 other governors canceled a controversial trip to a Jewish settlement in the West Bank today. Palestinian officials said they did not ask for the cancellation but welcomed the decision. According to an advisor for Yasser Arafat, the trip would have been contradictory to a long-standing U.S. policy that opposes Jewish settlements on war-captured land. The trip was arranged by the National Jewish Coalition. The governors are scheduled to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister, Defense Minister, and Finance Minister. They also plan to meet with the head of Israel's Labor Party and with former Premier Shimon Peres. American agriculture producers are several steps closer to fair trade with Canada. Senator Max Baucus spent the day meeting with Canadian ag ministers and says an agreement could be announced by the end of the week. As News 12's Julie Lamb tells us, they are hoping to reach an agreement that will be fair for both countries.
It's an all too familiar sound to American egg producers, the sounds of Canadian grain trucks coming over the border. Senator Baucus is working on creating better trade relationships with Canada. He phoned News 12 a short time ago and tells us it's clear Canadian ministers would like to reach an agreement too. He says the disagreements have been a big irritant to them.
We have to remember that not only are Montana farmers and stock growers facing low prices and have been facing low prices for some time, Canadian farmers and ranchers are experiencing much of the same drop in prices. So it's hard for them too to reach an agreement which might appear to them be more beneficial to Americans.
He's concentrating on 2 key points in order to level the playing field: more American access to Canada and working with the Wheat Board to even out subsidies. At a border rally back in September, egg producers shared their concerns.
It's a nice way of life, and it's been in our family for 5 generations, and I'd like to see them be able to carry on the tradition, and maybe their families someday be able to farm and ranch also.
And with any luck, they may be able to continue that tradition. Julie Lamb, News 12.
Baucus tells us the final agreement is expected in the next couple of days. If you are planning to buy a gun, get ready for a background check. Background checks have been required on all handgun purchases since 1993, but now a new national system calls for automatic background checks for all gun purchases, including shotguns and rifles. News 12 hit the streets to find out how Hellenans feel about this new plan.
And I don't think criminals are going to go through this kind of a check to get their guns. There's just too many guns available without going through dealers and so on.
You know, I believe that we have the right to bear arms, but I think a lot of people have abused that right, and it shouldn't, unless you have something to fear, you shouldn't care.
We already have enough laws in place to cover the purchase of any firearms. So.
The number of background checks is expected to double almost immediately, and authorities say that because hunting coincides with the holidays, December is the busiest month for gun sales. An autopsy was performed today on a transient who was found dead in a U-Haul trailer over the weekend here in Helena. Lewis and Clark County Coroner Mickey Nelson told News 12 today he believes the man had been dead since last Wednesday. The victim is 42-year-old George Hudak, apparently from Minnesota. Nelson has ruled out foul play as the cause of death. He says he's waiting for the toxicology report that was sent to the state crime lab in Missoula. Officials say Hudak may have died from carbon monoxide poisoning. A barbecue with some burned briquettes were found in the truck, and that may be a possible cause to the death. Well, we got to see some sunshine today. We will see more tomorrow. Chief Forecaster Jamie Krumheuer is in the Weather Center. She'll let us know. Jamie?
Well, Orlinda, the clouds are on the increase. We were actually expected to drop to about 26 degrees tonight, but because of those additional clouds, right now we're sitting at 42 degrees. We've actually risen in temperature the past few hours. Still a 20% chance of scattered showers tonight. I'll be back with the details of your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Orlinda.
Thanks, Jamie. A new plan for the Lyndale Overpass has some concern. We have the pros and cons coming up next. Time is running out. Will Helena gas stations be ready? We'll explain on News 12, where news comes first.
You're watching Channel 12, where news comes first. From Montana's capital, this is News 12 at 10. You're watching Channel 12, where news comes first.
With more and more people moving to Montana, there is more traffic on Helena's roads. One project designed to make traveling safer is to lower the Lyndale Overpass. Some are concerned about having a way to cross Lyndale between Carroll College and the Great Northern Development. Carroll College would like to see the city realign Getchell Street so motorists would be able to enter and leave campus with left-hand turns.
We've always been concerned that without having a left-hand turn off the campus, it forced most of our traffic onto Benton, requiring most of our folks to take a left, which is, in our view, a little less safe than certainly taking a left onto Getchell if there was an existing light there.
The developer with the Great Northern Project says he would rather see this intersection cross Lyndale at Kessler Street. That's because of the subdivision plans that have already been drawn up. But he says realigning Getchell would be a good compromise. The federal deadline for replacing all underground fuel storage tanks and pipelines is just a few weeks away. State officials say 25% of Montana's stations have not started the process yet. The DEQ says a large number of applications for the upgrades are still coming in. The deadline of December 22nd was announced more than 10 years ago as part of the Underground Storage Act of 1987. As of that date, fuel delivery trucks are to stop servicing tanks without an upgrade tag. Stations that have not complied with the upgrades and continue to sell gasoline will face large fines. In the spirit of the Christmas season, some East Helena youngsters are playing the role of Santa's helpers. Kids at Eastgate Elementary got a tour of the Montana Food Bank Network truck today. In addition to learning about the importance of balanced meals, the children will spend the next couple of weeks collecting food for Helena Food Share.
Don't get a lot of food and because they're really poor.
And so we're trying to help them because we're trying to get food, so we're having baskets all around these classes. And
the food drive is a cooperative effort with ASARCO. Kids from Radley School will also be participating. And Santa's sleigh stopped by Helena a little early this year for some special kids. Volunteers from Blue Cross Blue Shield dropped off toys and a donation to Show Dare Hospital this morning. The 50 toys will be used as part of the hospital's program to help troubled youth. The hospital has a system where children earn points to receive a toy from the treasure chest. A psychiatrist feels the program works well.
Kids at a younger level, working on an incentive is really helpful to them. Once they get to a little older level, they work on different kinds of incentives, things to help themselves feel good about themselves. But when they're at a younger level, this is real helpful to get them started.
Blue Cross Blue Shield also recently donated 140 coats to various community organizations to help those less fortunate. Well, still to come, Jamie tells us how the week ahead looks for weather. But first, here is the News 12 Business Report.
From the News 12 Weather Center, Chief Forecaster Jamie Krumheuer.
Low pressure from the Pacific Northwest will result in some gusty winds for us here tonight, and those winds may even carry over into tomorrow morning. Taking a look out the weather window tonight, there's a shot of the moon by our videographer Matt Rashley, and that looks more like a Halloween shot than a after Thanksgiving shot. Today we did see some blue sky today, but those clouds are on the increase as you can see them moving in there. High temperature, we reached 44 degrees. The low was 22 and no precipitation so far with good air quality. Our precipitation numbers continue to be above normal for the month and for the year here, and our temperatures were also above the normal high and normal low. Records are 60 degrees and 15 below, and here are your sunrise and sunset times for tomorrow. Currently outside it's 42 degrees. Temperatures actually risen in the past few hours and humidity's gone down quite a bit. We're at 50% currently. Those winds are already starting to get gusty out there at 20 miles per hour. Barometers falling. Weather watchers reporting cities around Helena also to report temperatures near 42 degrees. We do have 41 in Augusta and in Lincoln. Boulder is the cold spot locally with 39 degrees. Across the state, we're seeing 30s and 40s as well. We have 33 in Great Falls, 37 in Lewistown. Right now, Billings has the highest temperature with 47 degrees, 33 in Glasgow. Glasgow, Great Falls, and Kalispell all holding 33. That is the lowest temperature in the state. And we have 34 both in Missoula and in Butte. Our satellite image showing the cloud coverage beginning to increase today. We saw a few patchy clouds earlier, but as the system makes its way to the east, those clouds will continue to increase. Mostly cloudy skies expected tonight. We only have a 20% chance of showers, though, which is some good news. And because that cloud coverage is increasing, our low temperatures won't be quite so low. We're expected to drop to 28 degrees, but since our temperatures risen the past few hours, I doubt we'll drop that low. Butte and Bozeman both will drop to 30 degrees. We'll have 35 in Great Falls, and we'll see 36 degrees in Billings. That'll be the highest temperature in the state, with 32 in Glasgow and 33 in Miles City. Tomorrow, cloud coverage will look a lot like it did today. Glasgow will see partly cloudy day, and we'll have mostly cloudy skies mid-state. Also mostly cloudy in Miles City. Back here and in Bozeman, both with variable clouds and both with a 20% chance of showers as well. Mostly cloudy skies out to the west in Kalispell, Missoula, and Butte. Temperatures tomorrow in those three cities also a lot cooler than the rest of the state. 42 degrees here in Helena, also in Bozeman. 54 degrees in Miles City will be the high temperature tomorrow. So tonight we expect those increasing clouds and will increase to mostly cloudy skies. There's a 20% chance of scattered showers, snow above the mountains, and rain in the valleys. And tomorrow, variable clouds with a 20% chance of isolated showers and a high around 42. Extended forecast, partly cloudy to variable clouds all week long. Temperatures not too bad because we are seeing some 40-degree temperatures as the highs, and the lows will be kind of chilly in the 20s. And then Monday, those clouds roll in, Saturday, those clouds roll in and temperatures drop into the 30s. So looks like we may have another chilly weekend.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, hopefully things will change during the week as weather patterns do.
Yeah,
we'll
nice.
see some sunshine.
Okay, thanks, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Well, if you invest your hard-earned money, you'll want to stay tuned. Some changes have made it easier to invest in Treasury bills. That's up next on News 12, where news comes first.
You're watching Channel 12, where news comes first.
It used to be that if you wanted to put your money in Treasury bills, you needed to have $10,000 and some patience to get through the process. But as Stacy Johnson reports in this week's edition of Money Talks, investing in T-bills is now as easy as falling off a log.
It's easy to get lost in the world of investments because you've got a virtual forest of choices. While it's certainly smart to branch out into all kinds of investments, it's also a good idea to keep at least some of your green where it's totally safe. And that's where Treasury bills come in handy. Treasury bills are a short-term IOU from Uncle Sam. They're virtually risk-free, and state taxes don't apply. Interest rates aren't great, currently around 4%, but hey, that's better than you'd get from a passbook account. But buying T-bills used to be enough to drive investors right up a tree. The minimum investment, 10 grand. And if you don't want to pay fees, you got to go to the Federal Reserve Bank to buy them. That's why so many investors would leave them alone. But now Uncle Sam has made it a lot easier to invest in T-bills. For one thing, once you have an account, you can now buy your treasuries over the internet at publicdebt.treas.gov. You can also buy them by touch-tone phone. And best of all, the minimum has now been whittled down to $1,000 instead of $10,000. Remember that safe, secure investments are at the root of every good portfolio. So if you can't see the forest for the trees, it's nice to know the safest investments are getting easier to buy. For Money Talks, I'm Stacy Johnson. Money Talks is brought to you by your local consumer credit counseling service, where credit solutions are a phone call away. If you've got debt problems or want free budget counseling, call today.
Well, money to invest in Montana might be a little scarce because job growth in Montana remains in the doldrums. The Labor Department reports 1,200 jobs have disappeared in the past year in 3 of the state's highest-paying industries. This is the first time in more than 6 years that the state has seen back-to-back job declines in the key industries of mining, construction, and manufacturing. An economic researcher in Missoula says the slowing overall job growth is not surprising. It's been worsened by the Asian crisis, but there is no need to panic at this point. Okay.
Wow, that's real good news. Huh?
Well, yeah, not such. No panic in sports, we hope.
No, we got state basketball coming up.